as I sip on my protein shake for the night. This is by far the messiest protein I've ever had. And I'm debating if I should buy this again. Because this stuff makes a mess everywhere. This is the vegan optimum, excuse me, optimum, and it's chalky too. So I'm clearing my throat. Optimum nutrition. I got the vegan because I'm trying to taper off taking so much dairy. I'm trying to eliminate dairy altogether. Not that I'm turning vegan, but dairy products, cheese, milk, I'm trying to let all of that go because what it does is it ends up accumulating a lot of mucus. And within that excess mucus, it ultimately causes my stomach to feel nauseous because it drips from the nose and it's a whole process. So I'm just trying to eliminate all dairy. Not meat, but dairy products. So, how many of y'all want to know how do you make $10,000 a month? How is that possible? Because that, as far as I'm concerned, everybody should be making at least at the bare minimum 10K. That should be the starting point of how much you should be making per month. Nothing less, nothing more. If you're not making 10K a month, you're losing. And if you're not making 2K, you should be striving to make 10K. If that means getting a side hustle or a side gig, your pursuits should be making 10K a month. Bare minimum, no exceptions. And then once you reach 10K, then you should be striving for something more. But the bare minimum should be 10K a month. And I hear a lot of different people that talk about, which is pretty ludicrous, that they would even go as far as to talk about $1 billion status. Yet you haven't even got the minimum, which is six figures of 10K a month. And that's how you know if somebody's inexperienced and doesn't know business when they don't even understand their goal of where they're going. Because in order for you to get to a certain milestone, you got to start somewhere. And the milestone starts in steps. 1,000 a month, 2,000 a month, 3,000, 5,000. Then you reach 10K. Then the next should be 20K, 30, 40, 60, and so on and so forth. But the bar of metric, especially in today's economy, now I understand the nuance that 10K may vary if you live in high cost areas such as Miami or New York, especially New York. But again, 10K the minimum. And the way that you get to 10K is very, very simple framework, which is by means of a service, selling a service, by means of selling a product, or the third one, by means of selling education or teaching to some type of degree. Those are the three ways that you can make 10K a month. Forget all the other fluff of what people tell you as far as what all the other investments and this, that, and the third. If you want to get to 10K right now, those are the three frameworks you should be striving for, which is a product, selling it, whether that means digital product, a service which you provide for others who need assistance within your special expertise, or your knowledge to teach them. You stick to that, you ain't got to worry about nothing else. Forget anything else of what anybody else tells you with trying to invest and all these other extra strategies. The bare minimum to get to 10K, those are your 3 frameworks to follow. The easiest one to get started with out of those 3 would be a service. That's the easiest way to get started. Because at some point, somebody always needs a service. But the way that you flip it on its head is you introduce modern technology to that service and you digitize it, which has a lot more scalability, which when you make it a digital, you also can productize it, where you have a hybrid approach, where not only is it a service, but it's also a product. That means that you kill 2 birds in 1 stone. Now you could do the same thing in a hybrid approach with the education too, where you sell products. Let's say, for instance, you have a checklist. Somebody that needs help with knowing the proper steps to, let's say, for example, to build a website and optimize it. You can sell a digital product to give them a checklist of each individual category for them to sell that product to accelerate that person's results. So therefore you have a product, and then you can have a upsell service to help someone to have you either consult it for you to do the work or for you to sell the product to that individual. So you got education, product, and you could do a service with an education business. And here's the thing, with an education, people believe that you have to be this expertise genius. You don't. If you have spent 5 to 10% on something that you are knowledgeable about, guess what? You can teach it. Because there's people that don't even have that. 5 to 10% of knowledge of whatever your skill set is. My man said, "What up, Jason Derulo?" I'm not Jason Derulo. I'm KevX. Let's get it right. Just 10%. Because a lot of people believe you have to be this genius level. You don't. You don't. You need to have some form of knowledge, at least the fundamentals, where you can give somebody some type of blueprint or framework, just like I gave you guys a framework, which is the 3: product, service, education. And mind you, after I introduce those 3 frameworks, I guarantee you you're not going to be able to unsee it now. Guess what? When you go to school, when you go to the education, an institution of, or an academy, what are they selling you? Education. What are certain things that you have to buy from this education? Books. You got to put money on your books. Guess what? That's a product. So they getting y'all on both fronts. Education and a product. And in some cases, I believe that they have you enroll in a lot of, they're going online with digital courses. Those are digital products. So instead of spending all your time going to the institution in which they're trying to enrich their pockets, you can just model after what they're doing, utilize their strategy, and enrich yourself. Because guess what? When you go to that prestigious education institution where you're institutionalized, the information that you're learning is 30 years outdated in most cases. They're teaching you something that is completely useless to the ever changing technological advancement of society. So that's really a scam if you think about it, that they can turn around and have you spend an egregious amount of money to pay someone else to go in debt to, and then turn around and give you a product or education that's outdated and completely useless. And guess what? When you leave, not only do they got you by handcuffs, which is you now have to still pay that debt, regardless if it's outdated or not. You know, I've had conversations with individuals. I remember I talked to somebody, they had an environmental engineer degree, right? They went to school for 10 years. This was a big fancy degree for environmental engineering. He said that I got my master's degree, one of the highest levels. I think he got even his doctorate or something crazy like that, right? Just for him to graduate and find out when he attempted to go get a job for his field that he was so called had the credentials in the paper for, just for them to tell you that all that information that you learned is outdated. That was 10 years ago. Technological advancement have changed significantly from what you learned. It's completely useless. We can't do nothing with that. Crazy, right? Crazy. And that's what I'm saying. It's just like you can tap into skill sets right now that is up to date information, especially with the AI, technological advances with AI, where you got instant information and you know what's current to either apply it to a service that you can provide to somebody else or you can teach somebody else, especially when it comes to these new job markets such as prompt engineer, where you can literally learn how right now, which is a skill set, and research and tap into a brand new market of becoming a prompt engineer, which is knowing how to speak to ChatGPT or any chatbot for that matter, and know the proper language to get the certain output that you need it to function to give you the desirable results. So it's an input versus output type of situation. I do it all the time. I'll show you. Look at my archive of different prompts that I've done with ChatGPT, and then the newest one is with Google with Gemini. I use both. Let me turn the camera around. Look at this. See that? Leasing. These are all prompts. You can literally get a skill set in and learning how to properly write these prompts to give you the proper input that you need, because it's input versus output. So say for instance, you don't get enough sleep. That's your input. And guess what the output is going to be? You're going to be sluggish, you're going to be tired, and you're not going to perform at peak performance. That's the whole idea of input versus output. You learn the frameworks of putting the proper input, you'll be rewarded with the proper output. That's the most simplistic way that you can explain that when it comes to inputs versus outputs. That's something that you can learn right now. You ain't got to go to school. Matter of fact, they don't even have a course on it because it's so new. And see, and that's what I'm saying. They use all this scarcity tactics to make it seem like, oh my God, AI is taking all your jobs. You need to be scared. You need to be fearful. Fearful for what? Yeah, they're replacing repetitive, low skill jobs, but you can take advantage of it right now and profit off of a brand new market that is ever evolving and get a head start of everybody else. while everybody else wallows in their sorrows and just like, oh, woe is me type of mentality. You could be doing this right now to easily make, as I said earlier, 10K a month. Come on now. Don't be deceived. And if you guys would need some type of coaching, I should have a link in the description. If you guys need extra assistance, you want the proper resources and tools to navigate to get the desired income that you want for your life. It should be in the description. I may have to update it, but yeah, give you some type of coaching to help you get to that level. Because like I said, if you're not making $10,000 a month, you're losing. You might as well look at yourself and say, I'm a loser. At least for now, not for long, but I am a loser. I need to step my game up. And if you at 6, 7, you need to be at 10. That is the goal. I don't care if it means writing it down, put it in on your calendar, put it in your notes. 10K should be your desired goal to reach. Because that puts you at least, and I'm not even talking about high 6 figures. I'm talking about a plain 6-figure income, which is $8,303.33. 83 is what you would achieve to technically get to, which I'm rounding up to 10,000, but 10,000 should be the goal. But that is what equals out to be 6 figures a year. But 10K is the goal, man. That should be your metric. And I can even show you, let me see, how I've scaled my business to do such. But that should be your goal. 10K. Minimum. Minimum. So hopefully y'all can gather something from this. And I truly do believe that all of you can at least make that. Especially in today's market space, you can do that much. Is to make 10K. Fairly easy. It's not crazy difficult, but it's fairly easy. You still got to put in a significant amount of work to achieve it, but it's definitely achievable. It's not far-reaching goal. It's not an over expectation. It's not trying to make $1 billion or even being a millionaire. 10K, the minimum. And then once you reach 10K, the sky's the limit from there. It's simple. But I understand how people's motivation that even though I'm giving you all this information in this game, the vast majority still is not going to take action to do it, though. Even with the basic framework that I gave you, you're still not going to do the bare minimum to achieve the results that you need. Because like I said, 10K should be your desired goal to reach. Because I'll show you something. Let me see if I can find it. I hope it's on my computer. So that I'm not BSing with y'all. Look at my cash flow. This was back in October. It's back in September. Let me show you my bank account and how I took these principles See, one, I had a short month, and because I sent this to my cousin, 7,000. Boom. 10K. I was just short of 11K right there. And then, of course, I still was working on my month. But this is from selling services and selling products. To show you I'm not just BSing, that you can literally excel your income. Now, I can actually make more than that. But I'm trying to give y'all a baseline that is definitely feasible to do. It's not far reaching. It's not out of this world, especially in 2024. You can definitely do it. And I can show y'all how to do it. If that's something that y'all would like to see more of or need coaching on, let me know. I'll show you how you can make 10K just like how I make 10K. And guess what? That comes from me not being on social media, me not being front and center, all the different marketing efforts were, of course, on the internet, but it didn't require me to show my face. And for those who don't like to be in front center of being in front of the camera, you can easily achieve 10K. But it takes the proper steps and certain guidance to achieve that, if you know what I mean. So I thought I'd just share that with y'all. Let y'all know I felt like motivated before I go to bed tonight because I got to get up in the morning and continue my business. And let you know that you can put yourself in a much better position than most would leave you to believe, that you don't have to go after the traditional model of trying to convince you otherwise. So I'm gonna leave y'all with that. I gotta get me some rest because I got some more work to do. And y'all be smooth. Until next time, deuces.